I pressed it.
Oh, we're live! Let's go! Woo!
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's Unofficial Tabletop RPG Talk. I'm not sure why the intro music didn't play then. I don't know what happened, but we're live. We're surprisingly live. Okay, because Jessica's not here, and she set it up before she left. Oh well.
No, baby. Yes, for this. Yes.
Well,
welcome.
Welcome. I know it caught me completely by surprise when I suddenly realised we were actually live. But anyway, welcome to the show. I've totally forgotten how the intro goes now because I've been thrown completely off balance. Well, welcome to the show. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me this week is
PJ Covey from the Southampton Guild of Role Players, also from Homebrew and Hacking TTRPG Design.com. Sorry, I got distracted by a caption coming up and trying to read it. Yes, it is indeed 2 p.m. It's Friday, and it is time to roll for Ian Wold. Thank you, Rye, for that wonderful little bon mot.
So as always, we are live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, 2 p.m. on Friday. If you are listening via the podcast, you can join us live every Friday at 2 p.m. UK time. I do believe the clocks go back this weekend, but that's why we just say 2 p.m. UK time. We don't mess around with all this daylight time in this. We just let people use Google and work out what time it is. That's a lot easier.
Google what time it is in London. Close enough.
Yes. Yeah, basically.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Right, should we get on with some tabletop role-playing game news?
Interesting. Yes, let's.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start with some sad news, unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
Because Rob Wieland, who is was a gaming journalist, wrote not only for us on EN World with a weekly review column, also wrote for Forbes, wrote for various other things. You find his work in many games like Star Wars, World of Darkness, Shadowrun, Savage Worlds. Prolific, I think, is a fair term. And someone who, I didn't know well, but worked with. And it was someone that was always a real pleasure to work with. Rob was always friendly, very professional. He was always funny. He was always kind. Always saw the best in everyone. It was, it was one of those really, really lovely people. It's just really nice to be around.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he passed away last weekend. Quite suddenly.
I hear he was super young, like 48 or something.
48, right? Yeah, at the age of 48. Yeah. He left behind a wife and a young daughter.
Oof, poor guy. Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know, it took me completely by surprise. And if you look at a lot of the accolades on social media and, on Facebook and places like that, a lot of people obviously were very much caught by surprise by this. And so much of an outpouring of people saying what a wonderful, lovely human being Rob was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I never met the guy, or I never even heard of him, but like, just suddenly there's like all these people on my timeline saying, like, wow, this is a tragedy. So
I mean, people talked about
I believe it. Yeah.
People talked about his enthusiasm for the hobby, for games, his kindness, his, I don't know. It's
and a really encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah, it kind of hit me a little bit, this one. I mean, I didn't know him well. I knew him in a professional way. But it is, he's too young, and he was.
Oh yeah.
He was so pleasant, such a nice, funny person. And we'll miss him behind the scenes here at EN World.
Yeah, big loss.
And I'm sure the folks at Forbes and the various other places he worked, he was a freelance game designer, freelance journalist. I'm sort of at a loss for words. Normally with these things, normally these things it's quite easy to sort of whip out a fairly professional kind of segment on it, but usually it's not someone that you know personally. Even if not well. So he will be missed, and my heart goes out to his family, his friends. So it's a horrible thing, especially at this young age.
Yeah. Super young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's put aside these maudlin thoughts and let's move on to some other news, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, we looked at some graphs, did we not?
Oh, what a week that was. Yes.
We looked at some graphs.
Oh, yeah, that was a good podcast. Perfect for audio medium. Have we got more?
We've got more graphs.
Hey, more graphs. Now we're talking.
More graphs. So we have been following along with Echo Hawk's series of columns on EN World, and this is now part 4. And this is a series of columns called "How Much D&D Stuff Is There Anyway?" And in the first episode, 3 weeks ago, we talked about just how many products have been made for each of the different D&D editions. Spoilers. Second edition had about 50% of all of them. 5th edition, which shocked Jess, because Jess was under the impression that 5th edition was the most prolific, only 6%, second to last.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why she think that, because obviously 5th edition has wildly outsold, like, the other editions, for sure.
But they don't produce an awful lot of product.
Exactly, because you need, like, individual things, and 5th edition has basically been what? Forgotten Realms and a bit of Eberron and a bit
it's basically four hardcovers a year, pretty much, and some other bits and pieces, and maybe a box set.
4 hardcovers a year in the past couple of years, sure, but previously it's been like what, maybe 1 a year at most.
It was never that low. I mean, looked at the graphs at the time; it was never that low. But Forgotten Realms, it was like it was over a product every 2 weeks. It was faster than that.
Really?
It was sort of we worked out it was about something every 10 days or so during the 2nd edition heyday.
Oh, right, during 2nd edition, yeah.
Yeah, it was an avalanche.
Different orders of magnitude. Yeah.
So that was the first episode. The second episode dealt with D&D settings, and no surprise, the Forgotten Realms was leagues ahead of everything else.
Yeah.
As you'd expect. Third episode dealt with magazines. We looked at Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine, various other magazines. Dragon Magazine, of course, was the most prolific, followed by Dungeon, followed by Polyhedron, and then there was a half dozen other magazines which did less.
But to be fair to them, a lot of these magazines did run for multiple years, which is pretty good going.
Well, Dragon Magazine ran for nearly 40 years.
Yeah, I mean,
from the 1970s right up to the early 2000s.
Yeah, but even some of the smaller ones, like if you're running for like 2-3 years, I still like a really major achievement.
Yeah,
with things like podcasts, which come out say weekly, it's like you do 7 episodes, 7 weeks, 7 months, and I guess 7 years or something like that. And these are all like big crisis points where people are like, "What are we doing with our lives?" And we managed all right. But the magical power of just turning up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this week, before I tell you what this week is, I've just spotted a comment from one of the listeners in the chat. Damien, very kindly says, having spent some time with the bestiary, and I am assuming he's talking about the What Sword Is New bestiary, which fulfilled last night. We've done all the full-page art for the index. Is an amazing piece of whimsy, and the artist responsible deserves cake.
Nice.
If it's not the What Sword Is New bestiary, then I look very silly. But I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. Do you have to hand the front page?
I do not, because I wasn't expecting that comment. So
Fair enough.
Anyway, I'm going to tell you now what this week's How Much D&D Stuff Is There Anyway topic is. Novels.
Oh, so good.
So good. There's been a lot of novels.
The thing is, like, many people look at me and the life I lead and the conversations that often come up to me, and they say, "Oh, you're a bit of an RPG geek." I was like, yeah, a bit of one. And they're like, "Well, that's understatement." I'm like, "Well, really what I am is I'm a book geek. I really prefer talking about books. And so long-term listeners can put that within the context that this is a very serious statement that I'm making and make their own conclusions about where my passions lie.
Well,
Yes.
we're gonna go through all of the novels, not one at a time, in sections, basically based on D&D settings.
Yes.
With a sort of miscellaneous category as well.
So
I've got all the figures in front of me, but just off the top of your head, what do you think is the most popular D&D setting in terms of novels? I won't tell you right now whether you're right or not. I'm just curious what you say.
Well, it's probably Forgotten Realms, but like my favourite one would be by far Dragonlance.
Mine too. Mine too.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Dragonlance because, what can I say?
Okay. Well, I've organised this into a lovely little countdown just to make it more fun.
Okay.
So I thought I'd gamify it a little bit and make it into a little countdown. Because why not?
Yeah.
So what we have here is a graph, a lovely graph, and this graph takes a look at the D&D, official D&D, so this is novels produced by TSR and Wizards of the Coast, based on official, and also official licensed stuff, over the years, going back from 1984 up until 2025, which is this year, and you can see what the official D&D book industry looks like there.
Yeah, and for those who are listening to this podcast, what we're looking at looks a bit like a normal distribution. There's a touch of bimodality. There's two peaks. There's one in the mid-90s, 94, 95, where significantly over 30 novels per year were being published, which is a lot of novel, got to say. And then, what's that, 06, 07? There's another peak of them. And it like sort of drops off with like quite a harsh dropping off when you get to 2013 especially, and the release of the 5th edition in 2014, where it goes right down until we start getting to the last couple of years, 22 onwards, where it boots up. But we have yet to see a resurgence to meet those mid-30s peaks, which is, as I say, that's a significant amount of novel.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that first peak there that you're looking at there is, of course, a 2nd edition era thing. Along with that was when the big peak for the game stuff, the adventures and the settings and all that stuff. Also, the novels came hand in hand with that. And they were churning novels out, as you can see there, at a rate of, 30, 40 a year. That's nearly one a week. I mean, nearly a novel a week.
You're looking at between 1992 and 1997. That's well over 100 novels, which is like over 100 novels isn't that much, but this is like absolutely wild, especially during this period as well, like the 1980s to the 2000s. There was like a real drought. I call it the Great Book Drought, because there was like a real shortage of genre fiction, which was like just wildly irritating. Yeah.
So we both agreed that we like Dragonlance the bestest of the various novel settings. Rai versus the World is predicting it's either Forgotten Realms or Weiss and Hickman's Dragonlance books. So out of curiosity, how many Dragonlance books would you guess? Again, I've got the number. But how many Dragonlance books would you guess were published? Novels, not game books.
Oh, there are a lot. What I regard as like the core would be Chronicles and Legends. So that's like 6 right there. And then you've got Tales, a compilation. Then there was Tales 2, so that's another 12. So I would say in the region of 60 to 80.
60 to 80, okay. Remember that number.
Okay.
60 to 80. Okay. Rai versus the World in the chat also asked, do we know which is the first Dungeons and Dragons novel to be released? I've got some little facts here, actually. So technically, the first novel published by TSR was technically Dragons of Autumn Twilight in 1984.
Oh, nice.
However, the first D&D fiction published by TSR was a novella written by Gary Gygax under a pen name of Garrison Ernst.
Okay.
And They appeared between June 1976 and June 1977, called the Gnome Cache.
The Gnome Cache.
I have not read it. I cannot tell you much more about it.
Like that second word is Cachet.
Cache.
Oh, I'd say cache for that, which would be like from the French word meaning hide. Cache would be like if you got that's what it's quite important, because like cache means that you're getting like socially increased standing, and cache would be like where you
it's a fast access storage location, a collection of items of the same type stored somewhere, an auxiliary memory. So
like the known cache would be like, oh, well, this is like the social increase in standing you get from being a gnome, which is inherently lawful to be. Whereas a gnome cache would be like the treasure hoard of the gnomes, and that sounds like I hate to be pedantic. Lying.
No, you don't. You love being pedantic. It's your predominant trait.
And pedantic coffee.
Yeah. So the first D&D novel, 1978. This wasn't published by TSR though, but it was called Quag Keep, Quag Keep, written by Andre Norton, by a company called Athenium Press.
Wow. They got Andre Norton writing D&D books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And then there was a fiction collectible collection called Dragon Tales, published in 1980.
Okay.
So, but the first TSR produced novel was in fact Dragons of Autumn and Twilight.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing little fact.
Lance. Yay.
Yeah. So now we are going to go through the various settings and count them down, or count them up really, because we're going to start with the lowest and go to the one that had the most number of novels, and go through them and see how many each of them there are. Yes. So here we go.
I must interject at this point to say that the reason that Dragonlance is something I actually know about, despite knowing nothing else about it, is because I got the big collector's edition circa 1993, 1994, which is like, you have you seen them, like the big white ones?
I've got them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got them.
Yeah, exactly.
One second.
To talk about. Oh, yeah.
These ones?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Rest audio paperback of legend. Yeah. And the reason I have that is because my parents made a foolish deal with me at school, which was if I got good grades, they'd buy me a book a month. They did not specify the size to cost
Wow.
I guess they didn't feel they needed to.
And you ruled lawyered them.
Well, they said a book a month.
Technically.
I really like reading, like I say.
I guess the question is, though, did they phrase it as a book a month or a book of your choice a month?
Yes, it was a book of my choice a month.
It was of your choice, okay.
I don't think they thought to put it, or it was implicit enough that they felt that was the way to go. Because they are not natural rules lawyers.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, should we start this countdown, this fun countdown?
We should. Let's go.
So we're going to start with Planescape. There were 5 Planescape books.
And we're looking at Pages of Pain by Troy Day.
Yes, that's an example, an example of what a Planescape book might look like.
Okay.
So yes, Pages of Pain is one of those 5 Planescape books. So that's starting at the bottom. That's the setting with the lowest number of D&D novels.
Okay. That's
okay.
Wild to me, but okay. Yeah.
Okay. So next, we're going to look at Birthright.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Birthright had 6 novels made for it. You can see the Iron Throne there, but there were various. There were 6.
Do you know anything about Birthright?
I am very unfamiliar with Birthright. It's not a setting that I either bought, either played. I basically know it existed.
Like from the
pretty much all I know.
from the cover of this book, I would say it's like maybe supposed to be like pseudo-Arthurian because of the like all the guys in metal armor, but and it looks like
it
it's got some
was
sort
it
of
was a
spear
setting
lance on
released in '95, based
it.
on the continent of Cyrilia, in the world
Okay.
of Abrinis. How I love reading out fantasy place names. And you take on the role of divinely empowered rulers with an emphasis on the political level of gameplay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
Fun stuff.
Political D&D. Interesting.
Yeah.
Again, that's like really baffling to me. Like Planescape, you've got infinite planes. That feels like there's all sorts of stories you could just keep churning out stories and then whack Planescape on the front and call it good. Birthright, you've got like politics. Like, sure, you could basically have done a whole Game of Thrones and finished it, obviously, and whacked it in the Birthright and also called it good. So just baffling to me. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I guess some of these were, just they start a line and some of them would just let explode and some of them wouldn't, perhaps. I don't know.
You hit, you miss. So I guess the ones that were selling best got more books, maybe.
Right, the next one on our list is Spelljammer.
Ah, yes.
There are seven Spelljammer novels over the years. We can see the Broken Sphere and the Ultimate Helm there, but there were 7 of them.
I really don't like the cover art. I would not have picked these up.
It's quite cartoony, isn't it?
Yes, it's
a definite style. It's a definite style choice.
Yeah, you know what? It sort of reminds me of like a glam rock album cover.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, this saying it's going to be trippy and psychedelic. It's not for me. Whereas from what I actually know about the Spelljammer setting, I'm like, yes, give me more Spelljammer. So, like, I don't know. I cannot say because I've never read these books, but it feels like there was a bit of a misjudgment between what the cover is selling and what the setting's about. But I've never played Spelljammer, so we can hope.
Okay, next on our list is Greyhawk. There were 15.
Nice.
15 books. We can see the Master Wolf and Artifact of Evil there on the.
We've got a Gary Gygax book as one of the options. What's that? Artifact of Evil?
Evil. Artifact of Evil. Yes.
And Master Wolf by Rose Estes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about Greyhawk, so well, I hear it's very popular. Yeah.
Okay. Mystara is next. Again with 15.
I thought that
We've
was
got
like a
Dragon King of Mystara and Dark Knight of Karameikos on there. Again, same as Greyhawk. 15 books. I mean, these numbers are going to start getting bigger in a minute. But 15 books for Mystara.
They do have big dragons on the front, and for a certain sort of reader, that is just like a guaranteed sale. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't really tell you anything about Mystara from looking at it because it's just like it looks like, I hate to say it, generic fantasy, which is
it was. I mean, we did do a bit of a deeper dive into it 2 weeks ago when we covered the settings. But Mystara basically was the first kind of D&D published setting in the sense that at first it wasn't named. And all of the sort of older D&D modules were just kind of assumed to be in the same world. And then eventually, in an issue of Dragon magazine, they eventually named the world. And Mystara had the known world and the hollow world. So there's a hollow world with a world inside as well. And it eventually got named and said, right, this sort of like assumed implied setting is called Mystara. So it was around for quite a long time without actually being codified anyway.
Right. Huh.
But eventually it was. So, it was quite a major setting. It just didn't sort of have this sort of big marketing kind of logo and this Mystara branding that everything else had, because it was all kind of implied rather than up front.
Oh yeah, it does have like a little Mystara logo in the corners, but
yeah, but that came later.
Right. Oh, it's like a sort of a embroidered M. It's an M with like lots of like little leaf patterns or something.
That's sort of got a coat of arms kind of vibe to it as well.
Yeah, like I mean, it feels kind of emblematic that they're like, oh yeah, just like try and do like a coat of arms to make sure it's got an M, and like a lack of clear vision. I feel is perhaps part of its problems. Sorry, I'm being really mean about this setting that I've never looked at. So sorry, naughty. PJ.
Yeah.
I'm
wearing these glasses and they don't have a proper hook over your ears, so I'm finding they're not staying in place. And I'm not really used to wearing glasses, so I always find them really uncomfortable anyway. But I have to, like, occasionally, because normally I wear contacts, and like once a month I'm supposed to take a few days off.
Yeah.
And I kind of have to make myself wear glasses for a weekend or something, which I always hate doing, but hey, such is life. Thoughts and prayers and all that, I'll struggle on.
Yeah.
Anyway. So next on the list, we have Dark Sun.
Oh, yes.
There were 16 Dark Sun novels.
Troy Denning. That's the name.
Yes, Troy Denning. Yeah. I think Troy Denning wrote either all of them, if not a large number of these.
And these
so there are 16 of those.
These are like the covers that I've seen and associate with Dark Sun.
So, yeah, they're quite, especially that one on the right is quite iconic. The Crimson Legion, that's quite an iconic Dark Sun image.
For those listening at home rather than watching, it is a guy who's basically like a bald Conan the Barbarian style chap. Except
I'm assuming he's one of the half giants. I think they call them they've got a name. Moles or something.
He's basically wearing sort of like a Mad Max style fetish bondage wear style armor.
The moles are human dwarf. Half human, half dwarf, sorry.
Okay. Well,
and they're called moles.
Moles, right. Well, if this is a mole, then they have no discernible body hair for reasons. And you can definitely make an educated guess about that because there's a lot of skin on the show. He's got some sort of like, is that like a pair of maces on the end of a chain? Yeah, it's like a deeply impractical fantasy weapon, like which will ignore physics, practicality, the whole nine yards. But it does look, I will say, extremely cool. Not functional, but very cool.
There's certain values of cool, yeah.
I value the aesthetic, even if like not practically, it's like it's just not going to work very well for you.
Okay, right. Well, now we're on to the next one. The numbers are starting to go up a little bit now. So Ravenloft is next. Yes, how many novels do you reckon there were? Ravenloft novels were there?
Does Ravenloft include the Greater Domain of Dread sort of vibe?
Yes. Yeah, the various novels were set in different domains.
Let's say about 40 then.
Ooh, not quite. 24. There were 24 Ravenloft novels.
I was just rubbish then.
Well, yeah, you were just guessing. But, of course, Night of the Black Rose, I know you've read, because you've mentioned that before. One featuring Lord Soth. Have you not read it?
I mean, like, I know that he is a Knight of the Black Rose, and I've heard about it, but, like, I mean, I pick up a lot of stuff from Inference, from reading
okay. So, yes, one of the Ravenloft novels was basically Lord Soth goes to Ravenloft.
Right.
And then has a bit of a tiff with Strahd. Because he ends up in Barovia. And they kind of fall out a little bit. Because they're basically both of equal power, sort of thing. And they kind of fall out. And then Lord Soth ends up getting his own domain called Scythicus in Ravenloft. Before eventually ending back in Kryn years later. And I think Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman say that didn't happen. I don't think they like the idea that Lord Soth went and spent a whole lot of time ruling a domain in Ravenloft. I think to them they say that's not Lord Soth canon. But hey,
I mean, if you want to be Lord Soth canon, they literally can't stop you. So you do whatever you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is actually one of the ones I've read. Well, not Ice Shroud. I've read Ice Shroud, not this one, which says it's the War Against the Zalen. It's by P and Elrod. And I have to say, having played Curse of Strahd, the 5e D&D module, I was not expecting Strahd to be quite such a whiny vamp cell, which, for those listening at home, is a portmanteau of the word vampire and incel.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Goodness. Well, I like to be clear when I'm casting shade from a great height. Because, oh my goodness, what a whiner. It's like, look, she's not into you, man. Just accept it. You are the lord of whatever. Get on with it. Do something better with your life. Just, it's like, just so creepy. And like,
it's hard work being a vampire lord.
You
don't know the pressures he's under.
Ice Strahd is before he's a vampire lord. He was whiny beforehand, and then
that's before he was even a vampire.
Before he was even a vampire, this is how he became a vampire.
Right.
Then, so it's like he basically makes a series of deeply unforced errors, basically because like he can't stand his younger brother being better at anything than he is, and also because, like I say, he's very whiny and very impressed with himself. And then he goes on like a centuries-long pity party. Which I have to say is pretty good for setting him up as a villain, but he's not. I wouldn't describe him as a romantic figure. Put it that way.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's just me, but like,
I mean, he's basically Dracula, isn't he? It's the same story, pretty much.
No.
Well, the whole long lost love sort of thing, and living in a castle, like. It's very Dracula.
Look, okay.
Barovia is very Transylvania, very sort of movie Transylvania.
No, absolutely. But Bram Stoker's Dracula, which, like, if we're comparing books, like Dracula is basically this like guy with hairy hands, like I think hairs in the palm of his hands or something, and like he's a funny looking fella, but he does definitely have charisma. And he's definitely sexually magnetic, and like you cannot describe. You would have to have a very strange view of women and relationships to describe Strahd as having sexual charisma. Oh my goodness! No, seriously, like it's an experience to listen to. I can't recommend it, but if you're, I know some people enjoy terrible fiction. I apologise to PNL Rod. I know you're like a big fan of the show, but it's like, actually no, I don't apologise to PNL Rod. You did an amazing job of like explaining how this guy is a villain, because he's just awful. Complete, like he's not an anti-hero. He's just like, I don't know. Yeah, he's just dear me. He's awful.
So there we go. That was Peter's audio essay on why Strahd is an incel, basically.
Vamp cell.
Okay, fine.
We can make this happen.
Fine. Anyway, we got more books to talk about. We've got Eberron next.
Woo!
Eberron. Now, bear in mind, Eberron came very late in the day compared to some of the others. It wasn't around during the second edition explosion. It was a third edition setting when, as you saw from that graph, the whole novel thing was starting to wind down anyway. Even so, Eberron managed 39 books. I had no idea there were 39 Eberron. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually seen an Eberron novel in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they exist, but I don't think I've actually seen one.
I think I've seen maybe Dark Sun, and I'm pretty sure I've seen Greyhawk, because, and maybe in person, I wouldn't have picked them up because like there was a lot of stuff that looked similar that wasn't very good. But I've never seen Eberron. I've definitely never seen this logo. I had no idea.
These are actually written by Keith Baker, which makes you think, okay, I should check them out then. I should check them out. Because,
Like, I'm prepared to believe Keith Baker makes a good storyteller.
Keith Baker, of course, being the creator of Eberron, the creator of the setting. Yes.
Yeah. And of other games as well, he would like to let you know. Recognisable by his fantastic hat dish at a convention. Yeah.
Right. Next, we have I created a category called game books here, and this is essentially things like Endless Quest and stuff like that, which weren't really sort of one specific line because they were different ones, but I've put them together into one category.
Are these like choose your own adventure sort of jazz?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of Endless Quest books here, but there were lots of other ones as well.
There's Rose Esteth again, and Matt Forbeck.
Yeah. So we actually looked at that one, Into the Jungle by Matt Forbeck. I think it was that one. A few years ago.
I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's the one where you go to investigate a goblin village, and the whole village gets like snared up into a giant catapult, and you're yeeted at something.
I seem to remember getting caught in a catapult. Yeah, it might not have been that book, or maybe it was that book. It was one of those anyway by Matt Forbeck, one of the recent ones. But also there were things like the Fantasy Forest series, which was aimed at younger kids. Yes. There was the Heart Quest series, which were kind of more romantically themed. So there were a whole few different sort of game books and game lines. Super Endless Quest. There was the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons adventure game books, including things like Test of the Ninja, set in historical Japan. I don't know how historical Japan actually was, but I never played it. I can't tell you one way or the other, but I'm sure it was very, very historical.
That was to a merchant or fruit seller making a way around. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a whole load of them. There's lots of different ones. So they did a whole load of game books. They did 73 different game books over the years, and some of them as recently as like a couple of years ago with some of the recent Endless Quests by Matt Forbeck. So they've kept that going. Yeah. Okay. So that was game books. Next, the next category is it's Dragonlance. Okay, how many did you say?
I did say 60.
You said
to
60.
80.
You said 60. Okay, are you ready?
60 to 80, because I guess in range. Yeah, go on. Show me.
209 Dragonlance books were published. Novels.
Ooh.
That's a lot of novels. And I think I read quite a lot of them. Definitely, I did not read 209 of them, but I probably read like 30 or 40 of them, I imagine, as a teenager. I think. Maybe more. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, because I think they did keep going over the years. That's probably why I was like quite so far off, because they had Dragons of Summer Flame, which I'd quite forgotten about. I
wasn't so keen.
I've got it right
there. Yeah. I got my Dragonlance section here. I've got a whole bunch of Dragonlance stuff there. But 209, I just did not see that. I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking similar to you. I was sort of thinking around 60-ish.
I mean, 60 to 80, right? For those listening at home, that is a lot of books. Like, these are actual full-length novels.
It's hard to emphasize just how big Dragonlance was for TSR in its heyday. When we were looking at the settings and the products produced by Setting, there was so much produced for Dragonlance. There was this big block on the graph that was all Dragonlance, just solid Dragonlance, loads of it. And then it all just kind of died off when 3rd edition came out. Like through the late 80s and the 90s, there's so much Dragonlance. And then come 2000, Wizards of the Coast buys TSR, 3rd edition comes out, and Dragonlance just kind of fades away.
I will say this is also one of the only books which I was reading in public, and someone else came up to me and said, "Oh, I read those when I've read those. They were quite good." So there you go. And that doesn't happen to me very much because of the volume of books I read. I do like my obscure ones, but I was reading like the big old collector's edition, and someone recognised it and came over to say to me about it. So there we go.
But I do like my Dragonlance books. See, I don't have nearly as many as I used to have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, probably about 20 soft covers there of various ones. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 big hard covers. And I've got the Legends and the Chronicles collections there in
Yeah.
soft cover and hardcover for some reason. God knows why. Yeah, so I've got quite a few Dragonlance books up there. Quite a number.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the thing is, right, and even speaking as a fan, not all of them were of equal quality.
Agreed.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you go back and read Dragons of Autumn Twilight,
I tried.
You know,
I was super keen. I really
I still
wanted
love
to.
it. Don't get me wrong. I still love it. But it is a harder read sort of 30 years later.
When you're not a teenager and you've read other books and you're like, oh, wow, some of these characters barely passed the character test.
But even so, I still love those characters, though, despite that.
Yeah. Not like Goldmoon and Riverwind.
There is no character.
Yeah, but like,
literally a character with literally no personality whatsoever. Or
like if it was a role-playing game group, these are the people that like never say anything or are on their phones, and then they just wake up when it's their turn for combat.
When it's Goldman's turn to heal somebody, basically, yeah.
Riverwind's pretty much girlfriend who's come along to play a healer. Just spend more time with her.
You could be the healer, do I have to be the cleric? Fine. I'll just sit here. Let me know when you need me to be touched with a staff or something. I don't know.
Her knitting. I mean, she did get some quite good stuff, like getting, like, slight spoilers, like getting the holy scriptures, the discs of Mishgal. That was like pretty good. That was like a real nice spotlight moment. So, not like Riverwind. But the main cast are really like people like Taz, Tanis, Flint, Stam, Caramon, and Raceland, and like Tika is there, sort of like doing maybe a little bit of comic relief, which is a bit harsh. We got Kendra at the party, and then we've got the whole thing with Tanis and Kitiara and her boots, which I must say did make quite the impression. It was an evocative piece of writing.
I don't remember that.
Well, there we go.
Obviously, different things stick in different people's minds, I guess.
I know, right? He got kidnapped. Kidnapped. He was held hostage. And listeners at home will have to imagine the inverted commas that came out there, which basically meant he was shacked up with her in a city, but because she's a dragon high lord. Anyway, enough said.
Anyway,
let's move
on. We're on to the last one.
We've got the last one. We've got the Lorna. Anyway, so Dragonlance, great series. I would love to see more. I'd love to play more of this, but I'd have to run it. Oh, anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Anyway, Forgotten Realms is our final setting, the one with the most books.
Oh, yeah.
We have got 302 Forgotten Realms books. That's a lot of books.
A small difference. It is a lot of books and like just a wild amount, but compared to 290 from Dragonlance,
209, not 290.
That much of a
290.
Yeah, but it's like 90.
There's 100 more. There's 100 more.
109. Wow. Yeah. But 33%.
So Forgotten Realms books I've read. The only ones I've read.
I don't think it's that big a difference, especially because.
Yeah, the only Forgotten Realms books I've read are the Drizzt Do'Urden ones, which I believe I also have up there. I'm not seeing them right now, but I can see the Halflings Gen Crystal Shard, so I can see those ones there.
I've read the Crystal Shard. I've also read Dark Walk over Moonshade.
I haven't read that.
And it's pretty forgettable, to be honest.
I read Homeland and Exile, that Drizzt Do'Urden trilogy set in Menzo Branson, which I think Homeland was probably my favourite Forgotten Realms book. Out of the few that I've read, to be fair. I've also got one here. I don't even know where this came from. I've never read this book. I didn't even know I had it until just now. Canticle. The Cleric Quintet. Book C. Book C? Oh no, it's ripped off. I think it says book 1. maybe. I'm not sure what it says. But yeah, it's another one by R.A. Salvatore, but I've never read this book. It was on my shelf. I don't know what it is. But there you go. I've got something to read now. Anyway, that's The Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a little summary of all of those.
yeah.
It's all of them put together. So you can see Forgotten Realms there.
I quite enjoyed the Crystal Shard. That was set in 10 towns, if I recall.
Yeah. Oh, we appear to have lost Peter briefly, so I'll carry on talking. Hopefully, they will return. So we've got here in front of us here a graph of D&D novels by setting. You can see that the Forgotten Realms there is right there in at the top, followed by Dragonlance, followed by that set of game books there on the left, and then the rest of them were just kind of a bit of a sprinkling, really. Maybe Eberron there on the right has a few more, but you can see just how many more the Forgotten Realms has than everyone else. Right, Peter's just reappearing. We'll just give him 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. Hello. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Hello.
There we go. Yeah, your connection is ropey, very ropey. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That and gone again. Marvellous. Well, I will move on. So our next news item talks about TTRPGs, mental health, romance, and friendship. So this was a survey conducted by Start Playing, which is a tabletop gaming matchup service for professional GMs. And they did a survey of 1,000 players in the US covering these various topics. So I'm going to divide them into 3 topics. We've got mental health, we've got romance, and we've got friendship. So as a sort of top level kind of view, 76% of players in this survey said that tabletop role-playing games help them process trauma. 28% of them indicated they developed attractions with other players outside of the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
75% of them credited games with maintaining their real-life friendships.
Very believable. Yeah.
34% of gamers said they had played in a campaign organised specifically for mental health. That seems high to me, but if that's what they said, that's what they said.
I mean, it depends upon when. This is like quite a recent survey, right?
Yes, very recent, as in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I have played in a campaign specifically for mental health.
I would believe you would, though. But you were also a counsellor. Is your main career? I mean,
but
I would be surprised if you hadn't done.
Oh, okay. Well, I ran it because it was for mine and the benefit of others because it was during it was during the worst parts of lockdown.
Yeah.
So like it was specifically it would be good for us to actually have something to look forward to and check in with people. So
yeah,
that high number doesn't surprise me at all because like a radio game, just so that you can see people, it's actually a really valuable part of role playing because as we know, like games taking place on a regular schedule gives you a regular excuse to indeed an imperative, I would say, to get out and see your friends.
Absolutely, and that is a large part of what this survey covered as well.
Yeah. Like so, a lot of these things like seem very reasonable to me. Like you would develop friendships. It's possible to develop attractions just because you're spending time with people.
Absolutely, and that's a topic I want to get onto in a second because I'm not 100% sure this says an awful lot about role-playing games. I think it just says things about social activities, but we'll get onto that in a second. Let's just cover the findings first, then we'll talk about how valid we think they are. But they also did a survey which they categorized people by generation. going from boomers down to Gen Z.
Okay, yeah.
Which was interesting. And they were asking people who had met close friends through TTRPGs.
Interesting.
And what they found was that seems to have been increasing over the decades. It's more commonplace these days to make close friends through tabletop role-playing games than it used to be, at least according to this survey, anyway. So those that they categorised as boomers, 65% of them said that they made close friends via their hobby.
Okay, yeah.
While those that they categorised as Gen Z, 78% said the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So while it's not like a cataclysmic increase there, it's an increase of sort of 13%, but it's still, it does seem to have been increasing over the years. Certainly I definitely have, I mean, I'm not a boomer, but I've definitely made close friends via my hobby, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Long-term friends as well. Like some of my best long-term friends that I've known for 20 or 30 years, I met via my hobby. So
shared
anecdotally,
passion.
Yeah.
And,
anecdotally,
and it's always like a really good excuse to, like, you can always start up a game as an excuse to see people.
Yeah. Well, even some of them, they've dropped out of the hobby, and I'm still friends with them.
Oh yeah, which is pretty
That's
good
always nice.
Really amazing. Yeah,
because that says it wasn't just the game, then, wasn't it? It was,
Anyway. Yeah. Moving on.
You're right. So we've sort of briefly covered mental health there. We've briefly covered sort of friendships, maintaining friendships and making friends. Let's talk about romance.
Okay.
Tabletop role-playing and romance. So we've got a number here. I'm looking at a percentage here of how many respondents either dated or are dating, and I extrapolated that to include marriages and so forth. The word they used was dating, but let's assume that goes on to include marriages. 44% of respondents said that they met their partners through gaming.
Nice.
Which I think I would have thought was quite high, to be honest. I've never met a partner through gaming in my life. All my partners are met through alcohol, which is entirely different.
Yay, interesting.
But yeah, 44% of respondents, dated or are dating someone they met through gaming.
Yeah. Like 44% is a bit higher than I would have thought, to be honest. I don't know, but maybe single digits or low double digits. So 44% seems high. But again, it's like if you meet someone who shares your hobbies and your interests, it's the sort of thing where you've got a lot to talk about.
So that's the question then, isn't it? Do these numbers reflect TTRPGs? Or do they just reflect social activities? For example, rock climbers, scuba divers, dog walkers, book club, musicians, people who form a band together, yoga, swimming, football teams, team sports. All of these people form bonds. Some of them, I would argue, because they're doing it with higher stakes, like rock climbers, when you're literally having to depend on each other for safety, or team sports where, you've been working so hard towards a goal or a trophy or something like that, and something like that. I mean, I absolutely have no data to back this up, but I would not be surprised if they formed even stronger bonds than something like tabletop role-playing game does, just because the stakes are higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's a known thing that the increase in arousal that you get from being in a adrenaline-causing situation, whether that's something bad like a car crash or something exciting like being on a roller coaster.
You won't catch me on a roller coaster.
Well, I wouldn't be chasing on a roller coaster. That would be very unprofessional of me.
Not on a roller coaster behind me. We're on a roller coaster each. Your
There I am
connection's
with my
dipping out.
net.
Your connection's dipping out again there, Peter. Yeah, I think you've gone. So So I don't know whether other hobbies, other group hobbies, would have the same. So I think. Ray Bristol says, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure that 44% of footballers are dating each other. Yeah, but they do form close friendships. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily that they're dating, but they are forming close friendships, and people do engage in sports to relieve stress, to take their mind off things. You know, all the sort of things that people have been talking about in this survey. The dating thing, more specifically, okay, you've got sort of, you know, different situations where it's more or less impractical. But I think most social activities would probably have a similar effect. Okay, so we have lost PJ again. So I'm going to jump now onto a topic that we visited a while back, and that was the Gygax Memorial Table. As you might recall, a few weeks ago, we talked about the launch of the Kickstarter for the Gygax Memorial Table. They were looking for $150,000 to build this table in Lake Geneva in Wisconsin in the US, and this would be a stone table with benches where people could sit and play in a park which was one of Gary Gygax's favourite places to game. On top of that table was a bronze map with a grid set to miniature scale, 1-inch miniature scale, and at one end was a throne with a statue of Gary Gygax, and the rewards for various pledge levels for the Kickstarter were your names on various paving slabs and things like that around the spaces and things around the table. So I said at the time that we check back in a few weeks to see how it's going. There's 2 weeks left on things. So they needed £150,000. Have you checked it at all, Peter?
No.
No.
I was, I think, abroad when you were covering this initial.
Oh, we do not. Okay, right. I couldn't remember you were there for that or not.
This is all news to me. It's actually quite sweet, really.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this is the current prediction. It's not going to make it. Unless something big changes, like someone comes in, makes a big donation, or it suddenly gets some really big press coverage from somewhere. Something changes the dynamic completely. It's not going to make its target of 150,000. It's heading towards 123,000 at the moment.
I mean, 150,000 is quite a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah.
No argument there.
Yeah, and like Guy Gygax is on record as having made controversial statements about women and being not being part of the D&D community, which does alienate like a good 50% of your potential backer base.
Well, I think the more problematic thing with the Kickstarter itself and the way it's set up is you don't really get much for your pledge, and 99% of people aren't going to be able to visit this memorial.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
you know, I'm never going to see it because I'm certainly not going to go to Wisconsin just to see a memorial because it would cost me thousands.
Yeah, like literally £1,000 to get there. It's much
as I'd love to see it. You know, if it was in the park in Southampton here, on the Common or something, I'd go and see it. But you know, I'm not going to catch a plane to see it. And I think that's part of the problem. You don't necessarily get anything immediately back for yourself.
Yeah.
In the same way that a Kickstarter usually does. So it's kind of an altruistic kind of backing rather than a.
I mean, and looked at from that point of view, the predicted was it 123,000, 124,000 is a blinding amount of money. Like from
it's got 206 backers so far. To be fair,
that's a lot of people backing. 26 backers have done 123,000.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look though. So I'm going to look what the most popular backer level is, and it looks like it is. Ooh, I mean, none of them are higher than sort of 30 or 50. 51 people have backed the Warrior of Gygax tier, which gets your name engraved on one of the pavers placed around the bench. So you go back to the image of it there. I assume that's just on the floor around the bench there, around the benches there. So 51 people have backed that tier, but that's the highest one there.
Yeah, and how much is that? That's like $30 or something. Did you say?
That one was a Warrior of Gygax, $250. So it's not cheap. And you don't necessarily get anything directly back from that, other than it's not like you're backing a game and getting the game for it.
I mean, yeah, but like I say, it's like you get a certain satisfaction, and again, it's like about altruism and trying to create this, trying to contribute to this shared space, which is a laudable and worthy goal. Like, I do appreciate it. Like I say, it's just, it's a tricky one, and 150,000 is a lot of money.
Well, that was only for the lowest level of the lowest stretch goals. So at the 150 grand, all they get is a table and benches with nothing on top of the table, no map on top of the table, no throne at the end, and no Gygax statue. Just a table and benches. For 150. It was nearly $1 million for the setup that you can see in the picture there. Almost $1 million that cost, and it's certainly not going to do that. Not unless someone very generous suddenly swoops in and makes a massive donation.
I mean, at which point I'm like, I'm sure it costs what it costs, but like 150,000 for a stone bench and a couple of like a stone table and a couple of benches, that doesn't seem like
I don't know how to
me.
I don't know how to price that. Whether there are other costs involved, John. There's maintenance costs and all sorts of things that because planning permission, it adds up. It adds up. Oh. It's not literally just the table and benches.
I mean, like the materials are the smallest part. It's always the labour that really adds up to being the costs. But so 150,000 is their minimum viable product. That's a tricky one.
It is sad. I hope something changes and they get a few big investors. They're going to need quite a few people to come in with quite hefty.
When does the Kickstarter end?
2 weeks, 14 days to go.
That's a lot of time. Everything to play.
Yeah, it could change, but you've run Kickstarters before. They don't, do they? They don't suddenly change course. Once you're halfway through the Kickstarter, unless something completely changes, you know how it's going to end.
You get like a little bit of an uptick at the end. But I guess that's taken care of.
But if you look at that graph, that takes the uptick into account. Look at that.
Yeah,
and that's a generous uptick there. These days, I don't think Kickstarters tend to have an uptick that strong because people know how to front load them so much these days. They have much stronger starts, but the upticks at the end is no longer a U shape. It's a reverse J more than a U.
Yeah, like a little tick mark sort of thing. Yeah. But it's like, okay. I don't know. I haven't looked directly at it, but it just seems like a lot of money, and as you say, not much reward for people who are not going to be able to visit it. If you don't live in Wisconsin, like, and like $1 million for like that setup, I mean, sure, but I don't know. It feels like like I think we should look at the positives, which is in terms of like demonstrable altruism. People are very keen to support this, and like there's a lot of charitable backing. There's a lot of charities out there which are offering the work of developers and so forth back to the public in return for not very much of a donation, and they are raising absolutely absurd sums of money for definitive, like real world people who are very much in need of help and support.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. It's not really. I mean, you can write this one off as a charitable donation, apparently, but really, it's not. What in my mind, what I would consider a charitable cause. It's nice. It's nice to have a statue to somebody, but it's not helping starving children, is it? It's not charity in the traditional sense.
Yeah. I mean, like, what other events are they running for it? Like live streams and so forth, or
For this
in what?
Kickstarter, I haven't seen an awful lot. I haven't seen an awful lot. I mean, the
Yeah,
Gygax Memorial Fund over the years has done various things.
yeah.
There's exhibits at museums and in libraries. There's, they do stuff, but I'm not really seeing a big publicity push on
Like
this
what?
particular.
So there's a Gygax Memorial Fund outside of
It
this,
was, yes, it was set up by
and
Gail Gygax, which is Gary
yeah,
Gygax's widow,
yes,
probably
yes.
sort of 10 years, 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been doing
And
various things over the years.
what does it do? Like
Basically,
lionizes Gary Gygax? Like contributes to his memory in terms of
to an
legacy? What?
extent. I mean, I imagine partly it's a personal sort of family thing that they kind
Yeah,
of want to remember there, and that's utterly understandable. But
yeah.
also,
No problem with it. Like, that's
I've got a list here actually. So these are the things that the Gygax Memorial Fund has done over the last sort of 10, 15 years. So a proclamation of Gary Gygax Day on Gary's birthday, made by I think the mayor of Lake Geneva or someone similar. A dedicated park bench in Gary's name.
Oh,
The Gen Con Founders Stone at Horticultural Hall.
okay.
Dedicated the Appendix N alcove at the local public library.
Right.
Donating the Gygax Memorial Sand Table to 330 Centre Street, the birthplace of D&D.
A sand table. Okay.
Sand Table.
Yeah.
Creating the Adventurers Map of Lake Geneva, a walking tour map of historical sites relating to Gary Gygax and D&D.
Okay.
Establishing the Dragon Days Fantasy Festival.
Okay.
And opening the Wizard of Lake Geneva exhibit at the local museum. That's the things it's done.
I see.
So this is the biggest thing, obviously, that they'll have done. None of those things are, are massive. This is going to be by far the biggest endeavour, biggest project.
And like, they don't feel particularly altruistic.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I agree. But
you got sponsoring an library alcove. I presume it's some sort of sponsorship that they get made a donation in return for being able to.
It's a memorial. Memorials and altruism aren't necessarily the same thing. That's why they're two different words, and the word they use is memorial. I don't have an ethical problem with it in any way whatsoever. It's just I don't necessarily feel that.
Yeah. Like
it's an attractive Kickstarter to back, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't really. It feels like there are other uses for tightened budgets, and I don't know. Is anyone feeling particularly rich right now?
Yeah,
apart from Elon
Musk. He's feeling very rich.
What's it? $327 billion, and the rest of us are seeing our eggs shoot through the.
Oh, I've nearly got $327 billion. I'm short by roughly $327 billion, give or take. But that's that minor technicality aside.
That minor technicality aside, you're just a temporarily embarrassed billionaire, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. That's my
yeah. Anyway, that's the Gygax Memorial Fund. That's the Kickstarter. We'll check in again in 2 weeks, see if it makes it.
You know what they should do? They should hit up Musk on Twitter, on X.com, and ask him, look, we're just a bit short, mate. Can you just dig down the back of the couch? Because he could because it's needs $1 million to get the full thing, and he's been banging on about how much he loves D&D. If you take $327 billion and he donates $1 million, has a charitable donation, he will still have $327 billion.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Well, maybe they will. Maybe he will. Maybe one day there will be $1 million pledge on the Kickstarter. Suddenly, by Musk.
Yeah, why not? Because they got 2 weeks ago. just go. He said he's like really keen on Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure he'll put his money where his mouth is.
One of the problems is Kickstarter doesn't allow, just for a slight tangent, pledges of larger than 10 grand from anybody. So what they need is not just one very, very generous person.
Yes.
They're going to need several in order to get it over there. You're going to need more than one person to come in at $10,000.
Well, if his hands are tied and he can only contribute 10,000, and then he gives a big shout out, I'm sure that will help push them over the finish line.
I imagine the shout out will be far more valuable, yeah.
I'm pretty sure $10,000 would make quite a big difference, but yeah.
Yes, but I imagine that if he shouted it out, it would make more than 10,000.
Even if you're just a regular, boring, single-digit millionaire and you gave away $10,000, you would still have $1 million. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting a bit bored of like talking about like things that are never going to happen because like there's only so much fantasy I can have in my life, eh? And like the fact that very large numbers exist.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So you have got 1, 2, 3, 4 news items here, which we don't actually have slides for. So I'm going to let you take it away now with the final 4.
Oh, I thought we said before the podcast started that since we didn't have slides for them, because
should we leave them till next week instead? We can do that if you like.
Yeah, I think we can quite safely leave them to next week. Some of them are, yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
In that case, that's probably us done for the week.
Yeah. It's been been a decent hour, as it were. I hope you listeners at home are okay.
I just want to do a quick little shout out and congratulations to the Wild Magic Kickstarter, which closed at over $100,000, which was very, very cool. Yeah, I was very impressed with that. That was very cool.
They spent a lot of money on Instagram ads. It's like every time I looked at my Instagram, it was like, oh, Wild Magic Kickstarter. Every time I opened the page, like, oh, there they go. Good for them. Yeah.
Well, it was a very, very well run campaign. And it was at Speaks and Spells Publishing, so good for them. It's finished now. £97,000. It's $131,000.
Amazing. Can't beat him. Definitely. Hats off to him. He spent the money and he got it done. So yeah, reaping rewards.
Yeah. Right, and that is us done for the week. We'll be back next week. Jess will be back next week also. She's currently in Italy drinking all the wine. I told her, try not to get arrested, and she responded, I can't make any promises. So we hope she'll be back next week, but we can't guarantee it.
Honest to a fault.
Yeah.
Sure, she'll be fine.
Okay, should we get out of here? Should we have a weekend?
Amazing plan. Let's go.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Sorry for all the technical glitches throughout there. Me being left there like a scared rabbit in the headlights, just trying to talk by myself, which I think I sort of managed to pull off, But hey, what fun. Okay, shall we go? All right then. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus is unofficial tabletop RPG.